All right, Jordan, I'm pumped for another Sherlock Holmes story. What's up this time? Some guy vanishing into thin air again, or maybe a sneaky jewel thief?
Nah, mate, this one's way creepier. It's called The Five Orange Pips, and it's got a vibe that'll make your skin crawl. Picture this: a stormy night, wind howling like mad, and this young bloke bangs on Holmes's door, scared out of his wits, holding a letter that's basically a ticket to the grave. We're talking family curses, shadowy killers, and these weird little orange seeds that mean you're toast.
Orange seeds? That's odd as hell and spooky. Who's this guy and why's he freaking out?
His name's John Openshaw. It's late September 1887, and London's getting smashed by one of those wild storms, rain pelting down, wind screaming through the streets, rattling every window. Watson's chilling at 221B Baker Street, half asleep by the fire with a cuppa, while Holmes is messing about with some smelly chemicals in a corner. Then, bang, 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 someone's hammering the door like they're running from a monster. Mrs. Hudson swings it open, and in stumbles this fella, mid-20s, drenched to his socks, face white as a sheet, eyes bugging out. He's shaking like a leaf, blurting, "Mr. Holmes, you're my only shot. They're after me. I'm dead meat."
They? Who's they? What's got him so worked up?
That's the juicy bit. John flops into a chair, peeling off his soggy coat, water dripping all over the rug, and starts spilling his guts. "It's my family," he says, voice all wobbly. "Something's been picking us off, one by one. First my uncle, then my dad, and now I reckon I'm next in line." Watson's perked up now, setting his tea down, going, "Blimey, picking you off? What's that about?" John leans in, real quiet, like he's scared someone's earwigging, and says, "It all started with 5 orange pips."
Orange pips? Like from a fruit? That's bloody strange. What's the deal?
John digs into his pocket with shaky hands, pulls out this soggy envelope, and chucks it on the table. Holmes grabs it, plain as anything, no sender's name, stamped from Dundee up in Scotland. He rips it open, and out tumble 5 dried-up orange pips, tiny, shriveled little buggers, along with 3 big red letters scratched on a scrap of paper. KKK. John's practically whispering now. "This showed up yesterday. My uncle got the same thing 7 years back. My dad, 2 years ago. Both times, they were goners in weeks."
KKK? You mean like that crazy Ku Klux Klan lot from America? And orange pips as a heads up you're done for? That's nuts, and freaky as anything.
"Spot on, mate." Holmes is eyeballing the envelope, tilting it under the lamp, while John keeps yakking. "It kicked off with my Uncle Elias," he says. "He lived over in Florida way back, came home to England in '69, bought this big old place in Horsham, down in Sussex. Proper loner he was. Grumpy, jumpy, locked himself away with his cash and whatever ghosts he dragged back from the States. Then, in 1880, this letter lands, 5 pips, KKK, and some scribbles saying, 'Put the papers on the sundial.' He went mental, ranting about blokes out to get him, chucking old papers into the fire like a madman."
Put the papers on the sundial? What papers? Why is he torching stuff?
John shrugs, all jittery. "Dunno, mate. He wouldn't say a word about it. Just kept muttering, 'They've found me, they've found me.' For days, he was a mess, pacing round that creaky old house, shotgun slung over his shoulder, jumping at every shadow. Then one night, he staggers out to the garden, half cut on whiskey, tripping over his own feet. And that's it. Doesn't come back. Next morning, we find him, face down, in this mucky pond out back, cold as ice."
Drowned in a pond just like that? No way that's an accident. Not after those pips.
That's what John reckons. The coppers said he slipped. Too much booze, bad luck, he says, but there'd been no rain, No muddy tracks. That pond's shallow, barely knee-deep. And I saw his face, Alex. Eyes wide open, mouth twisted like he'd seen the devil himself. They called it an accident, but I knew better. Watson's hooked now, muttering, "Bloody hell, that's no coincidence."
Yeah, no kidding. So what about his dad? Same creepy letter?
"Yup," John says, voice cracking. 2 years ago, 85, Dad takes over the house after Uncle Elias kicks it. He was different. Chill, level-headed, thought all that Pip's nonsense was a load of rubbish. Then one day, this letter shows up, 5 Pips, KKK, papers on the sundial, stamped from London this time. He just laughed, said, "Some nutter's having a go, probably one of Elias's old mates stirring trouble." Didn't burn a thing, just carried on like normal.
Bet that didn't end well, did it?
Not a chance. John's eyes go dark as he says, 10 days later, he heads out for a walk. Same old stroll into town he'd done 1,000,000 times. Never comes home. Next thing, they're pulling him out of a chalk pit, half a mile off. Neck snapped, head bashed in. Coppers said he must have tripped, but that pit's nowhere near the path. Got a fence round it and all. He wasn't clumsy. Why'd he fall that day? I begged 'em to dig deeper, but they wouldn't listen. And now... He points at that envelope, voice barely there. "This is for me."
Jesus, that's grim. 2 dead, 2 lots of Pips, and now John's got his own death note. What's Holmes saying about all this?
Holmes is proper into it now. Pipe going full blast, puffing smoke like a chimney, pacing the room with that look he gets when his brain's on overdrive. He stops, spins round, and says, "Mr. Openshaw, what was your uncle up to in America? Spill it." John fidgets, nervous. He didn't like talking about it, shut me down every time I asked. Said he was a planter in Florida, made a pile of money, legged it back here after their big war. Came home loaded, but messed up. Always eyeballing the post, like he was waiting for bad news.
Florida after the Civil War? That's Klan country, right? Did he piss them off or something?
Holmes is on the same wavelength. He fixes John with that stare that cuts right through you and says, "Those 3 Ks, that's the Ku Klux Klan, mate. A nasty bunch from the States, secret as hell, out for blood if you cross 'em. The Pips, some kind of warning, like a calling card. Your uncle must have tangled with them, nicked something they want back. Papers, proof maybe. They followed him all the way here." Watson's gobsmacked. "The Klan? In bloody England?" Holmes nods, all serious. "Evil doesn't care about borders, Watson. And these buggers hold a grudge."
A grudge that lasts years and wipes out a whole family? That's next level scary. So what's John supposed to do now?
He's falling apart saying, "I don't even know what papers they're after. Uncle burned everything. Or I thought he did. There's this old locked box up in the attic, but Dad always said it's just junk, not worth bothering with." Holmes perks up, proper keen. "That box might be your lifeline, lad. But hang on. What's this storm tonight? Any ships docking nearby?" John's baffled. "Dunno, why's that matter?" Holmes doesn't explain, just grabs his coat, barking, "Watson, we're off to Horsham. John, stay put. Lock the door. Sit tight. We'll be back by morning."
Horsham in that storm? What's he chasing out there?
He's got a gut feeling. The weather's part of it. They jump in a cab, rain smashing the roof, wind rocking the thing side to side as they bounce out of London. Watson's moaning, "Holmes, you're off your rocker. What's in Horsham that's worth this?" Holmes stays cagey. "A lead, Watson. The postmarks, Dundee, London, mean someone's moving. This storm's dragged a ship in, and I reckon our killers are on it. We've got to nab those papers."
So he thinks the Klan sailed over, riding the storm? That's bloody tense.
Oh, it's a proper nail-biter now. They roll into Horsham past midnight. Streets deserted, rain turning everything to sludge. wind ripping at their hats. The Openshaw place is this big, gloomy heap. Tall windows, black as pitch, shutters banging like they're trying to break free. They sneak round the back, Jimmy a side door open, Holmes whispering, "Keep it down, Watson. Don't wake the dead." Inside's a mess. Dusty halls, creaky stairs, air thick with damp and old secrets. They tiptoe up to the attic, every step groaning loud enough to wake half the county.
That's asking for trouble. Anybody could hear him coming. What's in the attic?
It's a right state up there. Piles of junk, trunks tipped over, cobwebs you could knit a jumper with. Holmes is rooting around, muttering, "Where's that bloody box?" Watson's holding a lantern, light bouncing off the walls, when they spot it. A little iron chest, rusty as hell, tucked under a busted chair. E.O. scratched on the lid. Elias Openshaw. Holmes grabs a pocket knife, starts prying it open, metal squeaking, hinges fighting him every inch. Finally, it pops, and they're staring at a mess of half-burned papers and a scorched photo.
Oh, come on, what's inside? Spill it?
Holmes pulls out scraps, bits of writing still readable. Clan oaths, list of names, dates, and that photo. It's a bunch of blokes in white hoods, pointy hats and all, standing round a fire. One of 'em's Elias, young and cocky, right in the middle. Watson's gobsmacked. Bloody hell, he was one of 'em. Holmes nods, face hard. Aye, and he turned on 'em, nicked their secrets, legged it across the sea. They've been hunting him ever since, and now his kin.
So Elias was a traitor to the clan? That's why they're after the family. Those papers could dob him in.
Bang on. Holmes shoves the lot in his coat, saying, "This is their prize, and our weapon. Let's get back to—" Watson cuts him off, hissing, "Holmes, shut it. Listen." Footsteps, slow, heavy, crunching on the gravel outside, cutting through the storm's racket. Holmes creeps to a window, peeks through a gap in the boards. 3 blokes, cloaked up, faces hidden, one swinging a lantern that's flickering like mad in the wet.
Oh crap, they're here. The clan's tracked them down?
Looks like it. Watson's whispering, "They're circling. Must have followed us." Holmes grips his cane. All calm, but deadly serious. "Stay low, Watson. Let 'em come to us." The storm's howling, masking the crunch of boots as the front door gets a hefty kick. Wood splintering, wind roaring in. 3 shadowy figures step inside. Lantern light jumping around, voices low and growly with that American twang. "He's got to be here. Find that box. Tear the place apart if you have to."
They're walking right into a trap. What's Holmes do?
He waits, cool as a cucumber, till they're halfway up the stairs. Creak, creak, creak. Then he pounces, cane swinging like a bat, smacking one bloke's legs out from under him with a yelp. "Drop it, you bastard," he shouts. Watson's on it too. Dives at another, revolver waving, bellowing, "Back off, or I'll blow your bloody head off." The third geezer panics, bolts out the door, papers flapping from his coat as he vanishes into the rain, lanterns smashing on the porch.
Total madness. Did they nab him?
Not quite. 2 slip the net, the boss and the runner, legging it into the storm before Holmes can get a grip. The one Watson tackles down, groaning, leg twisted, but he's a tough nut. Snarls, "You'll get sod all out of me, you meddling git." Holmes ties him up with some old curtain rope, saying, "The coppers can have him. He's their problem now. The papers are ours, Watson. We've mucked up their plans."
So they've got one, but the big fish got away. What about John?
That's the gut punch. They drag their catch back to London. Roads a swamp, dawn creeping up grey and miserable. Holmes is soaked through. Watson's hobbling from a knock in the scuffle, and they stumble into 221B, expecting John to be pacing the floor. But it's dead quiet. Room empty, fire gone cold. On the tables, a scrap of paper, scribbled in a rush. They came, 2 blokes, Yankee voices. I bolted, heading for the station. J.O. Holmes slams his fist down. Bugger it, Watson. We were too slow.
They nabbed him while Holmes was out? That's brutal.
Worse than that. Holmes scrambles, checks shipping lists from a soggy newspaper he'd nabbed earlier. There's an American ship, the Lone Star, docked in Dundee a few days back, now steaming out with the storm's tailwind, headed for Savannah. He growls, "That's their ride. They've got him aboard." Next day, word hits the streets. John Openshaw's body turns up near Waterloo Bridge, fished out of the Thames, drowned, no cuts or bruises, just like his uncle.
No way, they chucked him in the river? That's cold.
Ice cold. Holmes is fuming. They tossed him overboard as they scarpered. I underestimated 'em, Watson. Thought we'd beat 'em to the punch. Watson's gutted. We had the bastards, Holmes. We were so close. Holmes shakes his head, staring out at the rain. Not close enough. I've sent the papers to Scotland Yard. Tracked the Lone Star. They'll chase it. But John, we lost him.
That's a kick in the teeth. The Klan gets away with it?
For now. Weeks later, word trickles back. The Lone Star goes down off Georgia, smashed by a storm, or maybe sunk on purpose. No one makes it out alive. Holmes says, quiet like, "They've paid a price, Watson, but not by us. The pips are done. Openshaw's line's finished with him. It's a rare miss. Holmes cracks it, but can't save the day."
Man, that's dark as hell. Proper eerie start, brutal finish. Those pips are gonna haunt me.
Told you it'd stick with you. Holmes up against a ghost he can't catch. It's a rough one. Next story's got a lighter twist. Want to shake this gloom off?
Yeah, mate, let's switch it up. What's next?
Subscribe for more content.